Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Tech Talk Live. This is actually Tech Talk Live number 100. So, yay! I'm Kristen Gastaldo. I am your community manager. Speaking of Tech Talk Live number 100, we are actually going to spend our next event, which is the office hours, which will be held on next Friday, December 16th at the same time. We're going to be going over a little bit of our history with Tech Talk Lives. We're going to be talking about some of our favorite episodes, some of the more popular ones, just kind of discuss the history. We'll be joined by a couple of special guests, so I hope you can make it next week. Additionally, we have a couple more announcements today. So we are happy to announce that tomorrow, pending any last-minute changes or obstacles that we don't foresee at the current time, we are going to go live with an activity space in the Jive community. So we have a section now set up, for ECM and for the Application Development Framework, and we are going to be launching the BPM space tomorrow. We have migrated everything from the activity forums, so no content will be lost, and we look forward to seeing you guys there if you have some interest in activity and checking out that space. Today's Tech Talk Live is going to be focused on the App Dev framework. We are joined by Mario Romano, who is our architect for both App Dev and Activity. We're really looking forward to his presentation. I'm going to hand it over now to Francesco, who is our developer evangelist, if you haven't met him yet, and he has some more information for you guys as well.
Hi, all guys. Thank you, Kristen, and hi, Mario. Just a couple of minutes to share with you the latest news in the Alfresco world, and mainly I would like to underline again that the last 28th of November, the brand new desktop sync version 1 has been released in GA version for Windows and available to paid subscribers. So this is a feature for the Alfresco 1 subscribers. In any case, we think it's a relevant feature we would like to spread the word to, of course. Another news is about the release of the Alfresco mobile for iOS version 2.4 with major improvements in sync content mainly. And I would like to underline, I'm happy to underline that this is a completely open source project available on GitHub, and probably this is the unique product completely open source and available on GitHub for iOS platform, of course. So please check it as a mobile enhancement for Alfresco and workflows released in Alfresco. So don't want to waste time and want to talk about this exciting content today, because we have received lots of interest around the Twitter and the social about the brand new application development platform based on Angular 2, and we are happy to hear from Romano, from Mario, the latest news, and be introduced to the framework and talk a little bit more about this. Thank you, Mario. So please, I will go mute, so please describe us your ADF.
Okay. Sorry, let me jump in real quick. I forgot to say, if you guys do have questions for Mario, we are monitoring both the IRC chat and the YouTube chat, so post your questions in there. We're going to let him do his full presentation, and then we'll take our questions and ask at the end, okay?
Sorry, before leaving you the word, I have a question about the latest news section. I will do the same in the for the office hours because last time we tried the first time, so we'll renew this in the next office hour. Sorry, Mario, please go ahead with the exciting news.
Okay, so hi to all. First of all, I prepared some slides that I'm going to throw you. I'm sorry if some of them is going to be annoying or boring. I'll try to make it as much entertaining as possible. Also add some cool effects. Let's see what's happened. So, let's see. Can you see my slide? I hope so. What we are going to talk today is the Application Development Framework. I am Mario Romano, the architect for the Application Development Framework, also for the Activity platform. If any one of you want to get in contact with me, my Skype contact is marioromano.napoli, and the mail is mario.romano@alfresco.com. I'm really happy if any one of you want to get in contact with me. I'm always inclined to talk with anyone, get feedbacks, and also talk about what you like and what you don't like in our platform. So the agenda for this session. We are going to talk about what is ADF and why you should be using it, and the framework technologies and architecture overview of this framework. How to use the Alfresco JavaScript API, which is a part of the ADF framework. Use extension and customization of the components, the Angular 2 components that are another parts of the ADF framework, and where to go if you want to start building an application based on this technology. So the reason why you should start using the ADF framework. What we want to really do with this framework is to shorten the time that is needed between the moment that you start using any Alfresco technologies and the moment that you can put something in production. And all these graphs are really good, are really nice. I'm pretty sure all the project manager will like it. But the sense of this thing is, behind our platform, there are a lot of concepts. We spawn REST endpoints. We have a lot of capabilities and functionalities. But often, what most of our partners and developers do is to rebuild from scratch solutions, and often they found themselves to rewriting HTML, JavaScript that more or less starts from the same concept. Takes the REST APIs and builds some functionalities on top of these REST APIs or backend capabilities that we offer with our platform. So why do the reason why we build this platform is why we don't put something on over these things to shorten the time of this development. And the three pieces of this, most important pieces of this ADF framework are the Angular 2 components, the JavaScript libraries, and the Yeoman scaffold generator. I'll show you, going on with the slides, what each of these pieces do, and what exactly means each of them. So the technologies that we use as languages are HTML5, CSS, JavaScript, TypeScript. And the frameworks are Angular 2 for behavior-related things, and Google Material Design for all the things that are about the UI. And then we have the development tools, Node, NPM, the Yeoman generator, everything's on GitHub. And testing. We really think that testing has a big value for all the people that use, in general, a framework, because it gives to the framework a consistency, also make it reliable. So we test it with the Jasmine. We also have some automation framework with robot to automate the user interaction. And we have a CI, a public CI with Travis. Now let's have a look what is the architecture of the framework. So we have a server side and client side. In the server side, you can see here the classic things of Alfresco, the things that you may know most: the activity REST API and Alfresco 1 REST API layers. What we do, what we have done is build a layer on top of these two APIs, which is the Alfresco JavaScript API. And this API, first of all, wraps all the call of the activity REST API and Alfresco 1 REST API, but also brings consistency between these two platforms. And one example is for the login system. When you do the login system with this JavaScript API, you can choose to be logged in with the Activity REST API and also with the Alfresco One REST API, just making one call. This for sure makes short your time of developing application, because you don't have to waste your time starting understanding what is the best way to call our REST API, how to bring this consistency. All this logic, all these mechanisms are already there inside Alfresco JavaScript API. And then we have the layer that is more for the presentation layer, and is the Angular 2 components. We have various components for the ECM side, for the BPM side, but also we have some components that are general components that are meant for both sides, for the ECM and the BPM. And then we have the Yeoman generator that I will explain you later how this thing fit in the general purpose of this framework. So we talk about the Alfresco JavaScript API. I already told you that unified login mechanism of the ECM and the BPM. It wraps the ECM and API methods. It also wraps the BPM API methods. What I didn't tell you is that it is suitable for front-end use and back-end use. And it's not just for front-end and back-end use. It is really usable with any framework that are built on top of JavaScript. So if you want to use our Alfresco JavaScript API with Backbone, with the React, Ember, we have example people that use our Alfresco JavaScript API to build mobile application with Ionic. Is really suitable for any JavaScript framework. So the picture that you see there is more or less the reflection of the architecture of this Alfresco JavaScript API. So we have a layer here of the authentication that brings consistency between these two platforms, as already said. It wraps the calls of the two, the BPM and DCM platform. This is an example how to import this library for a server-side project and for a client-side project. If you want, all these technologies that I'm going to talk in this presentation, I forgot to say, are all open source and public on GitHub. All the issues are public on GitHub, and also the documentation is public on GitHub. So the best way, if you want to know more about the Alfresco JavaScript API, is to go on at this website and start browsing and reading the documentation. We provide a lot of examples how to start and using it. I'm going to provide you also now some example. This is an example of a Node.js application. And maybe if we will have the time later, I can also show you some live code with this Alfresco JavaScript API. So what essentially we do in this example is requiring Alfresco JavaScript API. So we are requiring the libraries. And we instantiate the libraries. In this case, we are saying that we want to be logged in the ECM and the BPM platform. With this parameter, we can define on what platform we want to be logged in. And saying whole, we are logged in BPM and ECM, but we could even choose to be logged in only in the ECM or only in the BPM platform. And then it's really easy. You just say what you want to do with this API. And in this case, we want to do the login, so we call the login method, and we pass the username and password. And inside this callback, we get the result of the call. Of course, if would have been an error, we would have been we will have received a callback here with the error. As we accept the username password authentication, we also accept the ticket authentication. So if you don't want to pass the username and password because you already have the ticket of the ECM of the BPM platform already somewhere stored, you can use this way to log in. You will be logged in just using the tickets. You also can define what are the hosts where are placed your ECM and your BPM platform. There are a lot of options. All of them are documented inside the GitHub repository. This is another example on how to use the Alfresco JavaScript API. In this case, let's suppose that we have already done the login as before, and we want to retrieve the information about a node inside the ECM platform. We use the same instantiation of before of the Alfresco JavaScript API, and then we start calling the method of the ECM side of our API. In this case, we are passing the ID of a node, and we are getting inside the callback the information about this node. In this case, we are printing the name, which is one of the information that comes back from the APIs related to a node. As we do call for DCM, we can do also call for the BPM. And the way to call it is completely the same. You use the same instance of the Alfresco JavaScript API. In this case, we are calling methods related to activity, so the BPM side of our platform. And we are asking for a list of tasks. And again, you get the results inside the callback. So now let's move up to the layer, up to the JavaScript API. Let's talk about the Angular 2 components. And all these components talks with the REST APIs, as we have seen inside the architecture picture. They talk with the REST API through the Alfresco JavaScript API. So all the code that you will see, which is public again, inside this component, they talk with the REST API through the Alfresco JavaScript API. So we have components for common use, like the login, data table, that is a sort of table, user info component, which display nicely all the information that user have stored inside the BPM and ECM platform. And we have a viewer component that shows is a file reader. You can show in there PDF and other kind of documents. And then we have some components for the BPM side. We have the form components that display the forms that you may have defined inside activity. We have the task list that display all the tasks, but also has some capability like starting task or display the details of a certain task. And the same things apply for the process list. List of the process, filters of the process, details of the process, how to start a process. All these kind of capabilities are here inside the process list. And then we have the analytics, which of course shows all the analytics of the platform. And in the end, but not, we have the ECM components. So inside ECM components, we have the document list, the search, the uploader, the previewer, the tag, and web scripts. All things that usually people found themselves to start building from scratch. But in this case, you can just apply the HTML tag of the component, and you will see this thing appearing by magic inside your application, saving a lot of time. So what you get when you use one of these components? You get the ability of extending the behavior of these components, but also all the components are out of the box, have internationalization, accessibility, because we test all the components for the accessibility. They have a consistent UI experience because all of them are made with material design. We are supported by our UI UX team. All of them are responsive out of the box. You can customize the style. So let's suppose that you want to change little things like the color, or also big things like backgrounds or logo or other images. You can do it. They have a nice test coverage. The test coverage is public, is on our repository, is up to 90% of unit test coverage. they are easy to be installed because we distribute it through npm. So when you want to use one of these components, you are not forced to go on GitHub, download all the repository. You can just use the classic command of an npm for who of you are familiar with npm, and just do npm install and the name of the component. You will have this component installed inside your application. Each component is also independent from the others. So if you, for example, want to use the document list, which is part of the ECM side of our platform, inside your application, you don't need to import also all the others components and make your application heavy. You just choose the one that you want and you import it and start using it. This is an example of what I was saying before. In case you want to install one of the components, you just do npm install and the name of the component, and then you import libraries inside your application. And because, of course, all the components rely on material design, you have to install material design and import all the related CSS and JavaScript inside your index page. All these things maybe can be a little bit complicated. And this is the reason why we created the generator. I'll show you later how to avoid to do all these steps just using the generator. This is an example of how looks components integrated inside an application. If you're familiar with Angular 2, you may know that most of this code is not really related with our framework. This is just the syntax of Angular 2. And we have here, in this first part, the import of all the libraries. We have some templating here where we define the name of the selector of our application, and we import an HTML page. And then there is this the last part here that is really the code. In this code here, we are defining the ECM host, the BPM host of our platform. Also, we have some callback that are the way that we provide to the user to get feedback from the components. In this case, we are getting the feedback about if the login has been successful or not. But really, the code that you have to add in the end is just this thing here. And this thing has to be placed inside your HTML. So it's just an HTML tag, and with the options that you want to that is needed to customize the behavior of this component, really. For example, here, again, as we have seen inside the Alfresco JavaScript API, you can decide on what platform you want to be logged in. In this case, we are saying all. And here, we are defining the two methods that will get the on success, on error callback from the components. And through, we can customize the behavior of our application based on this callback. So how it looks, the component, when you integrate it inside your application. This is the default style, but as I said, all the components are customizable in the look and feel. So here there are two examples of this customization. As you can see, they more or less have the same shape, but the background and the logo, also the color of the text change among all of them. But this is just was our choice to show a little bit the capabilities of this customization. We could have also done more than that. I don't know, change the shape of this dialog, or maybe do not have the dialog, embed the login inside the background, or hide this footer here, or do not have any logo. Insert others fields inside the dialog, or do custom validation. So the way of how to customize the behavior, also the look and feel, are really a lot. So here we see how actually we can do this kind of customization that I was talking. Usually, as you can see in this green circle here, we point the name of the component, and then we define with the classic CSS language what we want to change inside this piece of HTML that we want to change. But also we support material design. So material design offers this tool, which is really nice. Through you can define the primary colors, the secondary colors, and the main things of your CSS. And you go on this website, you pick your colors, and then you can download this CSS and change the CSS that is inside the application with this CSS here, and you will see all the text, all the buttons of the application change accordingly with the colors that you have selected through this tool. Now let's see another example of the components. This is the components for the form. Again, we have some imports, templating. In this case, we are including also a CSS, and again the callback. In this case, we have some more callback than before, because the form component offers more capabilities. For example, we can decide to intercept the click on the complete button on the save button, or maybe we want to do some custom validation. And this is the way that we provide to customize and take control of the flow of the application. Let's suppose that you want to do additional validation inside your form. You could define inside this method here your custom validation, and then decide if to send back to the platform and store in the platform this information or not. If you decide to not store this information inside the platform, you can use the classic event prevent default command of JavaScript, and the application and the framework will be prevented to store this information inside your platform. Again, the way how to integrate this thing inside the HTML is super easy. You copy and paste the tag, and all these examples are inside the GitHub repository. You put the task ID in this case, but you could have also set there the name of the form. This component accepts more than one input parameters. And then you define what are the outputs, so the way to control the flow. And the function here are exactly the function that we have seen in this area before. And again, you can customize this form as you want. We have 3 examples here. They are the same form defined inside the BPM platform, but with different CSS customizations. In this slide, we talk about the things that I was telling you before, how to take control of the flow, how to retrieve feedback from the application. So one of the concerns that often people have with Angular 2, all the things related to it, are if these are things ready for production. And the answer is, of course, yes. We do unit tests, we do automation tests, we have a public continuous integration system, all the coverage and all the things are public on GitHub. We believe in clean coding, and also internally we do a peer review. All our contributions are based on a pull requesting system. So when we integrate code inside the framework, has always been reviewed by at least 2 persons. So, yeah, this. Also, we are about to release the version 1.0 in the next weeks of the framework. So, All these things are great, but still quite complicated to do, because I have to understand how Angular 2 works, what is the best way to generate an Angular 2 application, how do I integrate the Alfresco technologies inside an Angular 2 application. And this thing will take you 1 or 2 weeks. At least what it took to me at the beginning to understand how to integrate the Alfresco technologies, what is the best way, the best tools to create an Angular 2 application. So to save you this time, we thought that the best way to provide an Alfresco-ready application would have been the Yeoman generator. So using the Yeoman generator, you just install it through npm, and then you can run the generator. The generator will ask you some questions, like what is the name that you want to provide, that you want to give to your application, or things like, do you want a document list be inside your application? Do you want the task list being inside your application? It will go through all these questions, and in the end, it will produce an application customized for your need. And as I said, this will save you a lot of time. Also, this project is public, is on GitHub. All the instructions are at this link here. And yeah, we accept contribution and also issuing cards in case they are there. So now you have your Angular 2 application based on Alfresco technologies. You want to see your document list, or maybe your list of tasks. The last piece is missing is the enabling of the course. This is one of the problems a lot of people, the concept with a lot of people is struggling with. So because you will have the Alfresco 1 application on one endpoint and activity in a different endpoint with a different port, and the ADF framework again on a different port and a different endpoint, the browsers and the server are configured. In general, it's not for our choice, but it's a security mechanism that is embedded in all the browsers, all the servers. They not allow to make course origin call. So if you want to use activity, Alfresco, and the ADF framework on 3 different ports and domains, address, whatever, you have 2 choices. Or you install a proxy. In this case, we suggest Nginx. We provide in the prerequisites section of our GitHub repository the instruction of how to set up the Nginx. So or you set up a proxy that makes all the application be on the same domain, or you can enable the course for the from these 2 platforms, from ADF, from activity, sorry, from Alfresco 1. You enable these 2 platforms from receiving calls from the ADF framework. So this is what you get when you generate your application with the Yeoman generator. It has ECM capabilities. If you ask, this is how it looks like. Also, you can have BPM capabilities. This is how, in general, looks the activity side of the BPM. All these pieces that you see here are all components. You can choose which of them have inside your application. You may want to have only the forms inside your application. This is easy to do. You just take this component, you insert inside your application, and you will not see all these other pieces that are here. So let's wrap it up. Again, everything is on GitHub, it's public. We accept pull requests, issues. This is the link, the main link to the components. And this is for the Alfresco JavaScript API. We also provide a nice example already of a customization, which is a healthcare application. I strongly suggest you, in case you want to get involved with this project, to have a look to this project, because already provides you a lot of example on how to integrate this Yeoman VPN platform, how to do customizations. And at least the feedback that we are getting, a lot of people find this project a good starting point to understand the integrations. Do not forget to read the GitHub README, the prerequisites, all the things that you need to have installed on your machine in case you want to use it. Also, we have a GitHub channel, which is here, where all the developers are here, happy to answer to all your questions, any problems you find with the framework, and anything you are not able to do, we are happy to answer to you and get you up speed and running as soon as possible with the framework. So I think I finished my presentation. If anyone wants to ask anything, I'm happy to answer. Otherwise, I can carry on doing some code live, some live coding example.
Okay, Mario, first of all, Francesco speaking. First of all, thank you very much. There are some questions from the IRC channel. Okay, thank you for, now we can see you by person. We always prefer, of course. Please go ahead.
No,
that's fine. Okay, in any case, from the IRC channel, there is a question about the Alfresco JavaScript API and the version, the supported version. Of course, this question was given at the beginning of your presentation. Then in the second part, you described a little bit. If you can share your thoughts, so you can share with us which are the versions supported, which are compliance. So mainly, if they are also some inconsistency or consistency between the versions. So what about the version supported from the ADF right now?
Yeah, I think it's a really good question. All the components and also the Alfresco JavaScript API, but also the generators, all of them are versioned with the standard 3-level versioning. So every time we do any breaking change, we change the version, making sure that you will not break your application. And NPM, for who of the guys is familiar with, already supports some kind of annotation to make sure that in case you don't want to get breaking change from the components, anything you are using, any packages that you are using in NPM, there are ways to provide this annotation to make sure you don't get any breaking change. So the answer is yes, we support versioning. All the times that we release breaking change, we take care to update the version accordingly and do not broadcast this breaking change unless you want. And all the repository have a change log, so you can go there and see every time we release what has been released and what is changed.
Okay, and what about the Alfresco and Activiti version supported? I mean, ADF, of course, is linked and ask for the REST API services available on top of Alfresco and on top of Activiti. So which REST API version, which Alfresco version, which Activiti version are supported right now from ADF?
Yeah, all this information are inside the GitHub repository, inside the prerequisites. But anyway, the version of Alfresco 1 is the 5.2, so the version where we start exposing the REST APIs. And for Activiti is the 1.5. Since 1.5, you can start using it.
Of course, Alfresco 1, but also Community Edition 1 in Alfresco. Yeah. Okay, no, this is a relevant thing also for all the guys that is here, because it's the Alfresco one, so the enterprise release, but also the community one, because one of the keywords of ADF is stay open and open source, of course. So we support Alfresco 1 and Community Edition 1, right?
Yeah, all the information we are inside the repository on the prerequisite page.
Great. And another question, it's about the ECM and BPM components. So if during the discussion you were referring to the embedded BPM engine or within Alfresco, or is it possible to switch easily? And if you can spend a little bit more details about how to switch out to a standalone activity. So how it works, the interaction between the ECM, the BPM, and the REST layer of services.
I'm not sure I completely got the question. If the question is if I can move from the community edition to the enterprise edition of activity without having problem?
No, problem is something like that. If I can define, of course, in the IRC, they will be able to.
Yeah, Activity Enterprise Solution has been designed to make possible to migrate from the community to the Enterprise Edition. So in general, you should not have any problems moving from the Enterprise to the community. We had some problems in the past, but all this kind of problem has been fixed in the latest version of Activity.
Okay, and if you have an application that asks for services or over ECM, are you able to manage also the task list and tasks of the workflows released inside the Alfresco, or you have to, or right now the ADF is able to manage the tasks in a independent installation, to a standalone activity? How it works right now with the current version of ADF?
In general, you can use the DCM and the BPM together inside ADF. We provide also some functionalities that are cross, because the idea is to bring some consistency between these platforms. So we provide some capabilities, for example, to store the form as an ECM node. So you can store the information that you have inside your form, an activity form, I mean, in this case, inside your activity form, inside the ECM platform, as a node inside the ECM platform. Also, we provide some capabilities, like the abilities to show the metadata of any ECM node as a form of activity.
Okay. Another question that comes...
For this reason, sorry if I interrupt you.
No, please go ahead.
The Flickr application is really good in this case. If you want to know more about how to store information from the ECM platform to the BPM, also the other way around, a lot of examples are inside the healthcare application, which I was talking about at the end of the presentation.
Okay. Another question is about, it comes from the IRC channel and says roughly something like that. The JavaScript seems to look for an activity app contents in Tomcat. Is it compatible with the Activity Spring Boot Start REST API? I don't know exactly. I don't know if it's too in detail. Do you have some thoughts on that? We probably have to. Please go ahead.
Yeah, the best thing that I can do is to refer him to the Gitter channel.
Okay.
And yeah, I strongly suggest advise him to post his error, whatever problem he's finding, on our Gitter channel, because it seems more a code-relating problem.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely.
We also have the ADF space in the Jive community. So if any of these people are already members of Jive and they want to go and post a question in there, if they don't have time to do the live chat back and forth, they're welcome to come and post in that ADF space in Jive.
Okay, I think that one of the requests for the IRC, and thank you, Kristen, for underlining this, is we want to see Mario going on live coding. So I will collect the other question, of course, because one of the requests is to see you hacking something. Do you have something to show, Mario?
Happy to do it. Okay, let me share again my screen. Okay, so where do we want to start? I think what is really useful is showing you, the first thing that I would like to show you is the Yeoman generator. So what I would do if I would be you, or were you, I will go to the GitHub repository and I'll check how to start with the generator. It's really easy. You just do npm install -g yo. Yo is the Yeoman generator, and -g tells to the npm to install it globally. So you have it. You can use it in any folder of your console, and then you have to install our generator. So you do the same things, but changing the name. You do generator ng2 Alfresco app. I'll do it live. I think I'll get some error because I have read it. It will take a while. So you do before npm install -g Yeoman generator, and then you install our generator. I'll pass over this step because I just show you that you have to do that. And usually when you have completed these two things, because they takes a few minutes, because they have to download all the packages from internet, from the npm repository, the next command to run is yo ng2 Alfresco app. You run this command, and of course, I think I screwed up everything doing the installation, so I have to install. So now this thing, as I said, take a while because it has to download all the packages from internet. So bear with me for a few seconds. Okay, that's been installed. And then you install our generator. Now everything is installed, so I run Yeoman. I choose the Alfresco application generator. So press enter. I choose a name for my application. There we go. Oh. Then you start asking me some more questions, like how would you describe your app? Then the name of the author and the name of my email. This is my personal email. Okay. Some keywords. These are all information that will go inside the package.json of your application. And then you, this is an important question. It asks you where you have located the Alfresco ECM platform and where you have located the activity platform. So you, according with the where you have installed on your machine, you will provide here the right address. Then it will start asking you all the question on what kind of components you want to see inside your application. I'll say yes to everything because I want everything to be done. And then the last question is about what kind of license you want to include inside your application. I choose Apache 2.0. And now we should have a folder here with the same name of the application that I choose. You go inside the application, and then you do npm install also here. This operation, again, will take a few seconds.
Even if, Mario, someone is observing the ISC channel that after all internet is being transferred inside the computer using this command while we are waiting. It's a joke, of course.
Well, it's a one-time operation, so you don't have to do all the time that you want to do. You want to change something inside your application. The first time that you generate your application, you have to go through this phase. And then, of course, when all the packages will be, all the internet will be downloaded on your machine. That's not all the internet. We talk about a few megabytes will be downloaded on your machine. You will not have to go through this phase again. So let's give it a few seconds. Fortunately, NPM sometimes can be slow, but there's nothing we can do about it. Some people are starting using
some discussion in the IRC. I updated all of you guys because there is a lots of exciting around this, and of course it's a good thing. In any case, lots of discussion about the license of the Yeoman, about the REST API, about also some a suggestion for you, Mario. Someone is suggesting also to define a final name for the JavaScript API over Alfresco, because it could be more easy to reach and to understand and to call in a way. But lots of discussion there.
Well, I'll take these questions. I'll ask also by myself to the guys of the marketing and the right people to ask these kind of questions.
Yes, of course.
So npm start. Now everything is downloaded. You can start your application. And a little bit of loading. And now you have your Angular 2 application on your machine. In this case, I'm choosing to be logged in inside ECM and the BPM platform and provide the username and password here. And I should be logged in inside the application. As you can see, I have my document list and also tasks from the BPM. So I can browse inside all the filters on my ECM of my BPM platform. I can choose any tasks associated to me, which I'm involved. See all the forms, complete it, save it. All these things, as I said, are all components. So you can choose which one of that you want to have inside your application. And we provide analytics. So if I'm able to get something back. Yeah, doesn't make really a lot of sense, this graph. Anyway, we have so we support analytics graph. Usually you see a nice graph here. I don't think I have a lot of information in this version of the application. This one you see more concrete data. And so this is what you get when you generate your application. And now, of course, the question will be, okay, I have the application. How do customize this application? Where I start? So we went through the generation of the application. Now I'll move my IntelliJ on the folder for the generator application. I'll try with you to do some customization. In this case, I'll show you how to customize the login page. So let's suppose, for example, that we want to remove this ugly section here. So we just remove. It's part of HTML. And we pass here the information saying that we want to be logged in on both platforms, and we don't want to have any custom validation on this thing. And we want to disable the CRSF, which is, in this case, is a way of, is a security mechanism embedded in Activiti. So now I have to restart my application in development mode. This is this is the mode where the server will keep checking the change, live checking the change that I do inside my code and broadcasting this change to the browser. So, yeah.
When we are waiting, Mario, one question, no, one observation from the IC channel is that could be lovely to have an Alfresco and Activity Docker container to work with ADF. Of course, it's not part of your job, but it's an idea to share with everyone. That could be an idea, of course, to have something based on Docker to start experimenting with ADF. In the case.
Yeah, it's not the first time that I hear this advice. I think it's a good advice anyway. Yeah. And yeah, I think I cannot share if there are any timelines with this thing, but I suppose it's something that Alfresco will provide sooner or later. So now, as you can see, we have removed this dialog here. And let's do some more customization. And the best way to see all the customization that you can do on the components is go on our GitHub repository. And by the way, our GitHub repository has also a beautiful button here that deploy to AWS that automatically deploy the same application that I'm showing you now, more or less, on directly on any instance you have of Beanstalk. And this is the faster way to see this thing in action in case you have an Amazon account. Well, let's go back. Let's deep dive inside the capabilities of this component. In this case, the login component. I worked through the documentation. This is how to install it through npm, what you need to have inside your HTML. And this is an example how to use it. And what I'm looking for is this thing here, the way how to change the background image. We also have an example here. So what I'm going to do is add this string here and change the background of my application. Voila, background is changed. As I change the background, I can change also the logo. Good. We also will provide for the version 1.0 a packaging system that will significantly reduce this loading time, because now, of course, the application is in development mode. So all the files of the application are loaded in asynchronous loaded inside the browser. So it's something that you don't want to do in production. And the mechanism that we are going to provide for the 1.0 is the way to bundle all these files together, so do not have to wait all this time when you open the application.
Okay, we are very close to the limit of this hour, but again, the excitement around all the things that you are showing is very high. Mario, feel free to go ahead for other minutes, even if, because we all think that what you are showing is definitely interesting.
But yeah, let me just finish this customization.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
In the meantime, I'm asking to the IRC channel if there are more questions for the very ending of this presentation.
Yep. There we go. Yeah, I want to show just a last thing about customization of the style. I could go on for hours. I don't think people. I don't think we have time. But last thing, because maybe these customization are quite locked. These are parameters that we are providing to the component, but we can do also more advanced customization. Usually you provide inside your CSS what is the name of the component that you want to change, 3 arrows, and ID, the HTML sorry, the CSS tag or the piece of HTML that you want to change the style. In this case, let's suppose that we want to change the background color of this button. So let's paste it. We may say no, background color. You have the color change of the button. As this thing, you can change everything inside the component. Yeah, I could go on for hours. I think maybe is yeah, we are running. I see that we are running out of time.
Oh, no, that's nice. That's nice. I think we lost Mario, Kristen.
Oh no, it does look like that.
Ah, okay.
Oh, he's jumped back in.
Mario.
See you later.
I say.
You scared us. In any case, please go ahead.
No, I'm ready to get any other question. If you see that we have an interesting question before we close.
In any case, someone in the IRC channel were observed that you are very fast to develop. In any case, I think that there's a huge interest around also see you hacking and hacking with you and developing and see you in action. And I think this is one of the most exciting things to be in the Tech Talk Live. So being together with the developers and the architect, of course, to see how to work inside the source code. I cannot see.
I'm interested in doing more hacking code. I'm more than happy to welcome anyone in our London office and maybe organize a day where we all are there hacking the code.
You know, Mario, that you are inviting me too to do this because I'm very excited to also organize something more on this, and could be a very good idea to organize. I will be happy too to do it.
Kristen, in my place because my wife could be quite upset of that, but London office seems to be a good place to do it.
Okay, deal. Okay, deal. Kristen, I don't know if you have any other question or observation from the channel.
No, we did not have any additional requests on YouTube, except besides they wanted to see some demos. So if anybody does have additional questions, you have the option of joining that Getter channel or posting in the ADF space on the community platform. Besides that, it's been really great. We have this session recorded and we'll be posting it to the community. And of course, it lives in YouTube as well if anybody had to jump in late.
Okay, Mario, thank you very much for being here. I think we will have, I hope we will have more opportunities in the near future to stay together and to hack together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
happy to come again.
So everybody be sure to follow. You can follow Mario in the community to make sure you see any blogs that he posts, just to make sure you can keep up with his content as well. And I hope we see you guys next week at office hours where we talk about the history of Tech Talk Lives. All right, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Everybody have a great one.
Cheers, bye.